two,
And
one.
here we go.
Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Season 5 of Eye on the Future with Lady Fontaine and co-hosts Jim Elkin and Paul LaPlaca. To schedule a reading or learn more about Lady Fontaine, also known as America's #1 love psychic, be sure to check out Lady Fontaine's website at ladyfontaine.com. Now, here's Lady Fontaine with co-hosts Jim Elkin and Paul LaPlaca.
Good evening and welcome to Eye on the Future. This is Season 6, Episode 4, and today is Thursday, September 2021. I'm your host, Paul LaPlaca, along with our in-house spiritual wizard, Jim Elkin. Pardon me, we got a little bit of a delay going on here. One moment. One second here.
Okay.
Well, at least I got introduced.
Well, that's all that matters.
That's right. I'm a true narcissist.
That's the next show.
Oh.
I don't see it anything happening on Facebook.
On Facebook? Are you?
Let me go to.
I'm
Let me
on
go
Eye
to
in the Future. I'm seeing it on Eye in the Future.
You are,
And-
then that's all that
All right,
matters.
that's good.
Okay.
All right, so let me get back into it. Sorry about that. I was getting a delay. I'm your host, Paul LaPlaca, along with our in-house spiritual wizard, Jim Elkin, and our resident psychic extraordinaire, life and relationship expert, Lady Fontaine. She's also known as America's #1 love psychic. A warm welcome to those watching us live on Facebook. Please give us a like on our radio show page, where you can find out all the details on our air dates and show topics. We also cover specials and discounts, offer specials and discounts, and provide tips on love, relationships, prosperity, manifesting, and so much more. Those of you watching us on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button to be notified of our new shows. We're very interested in your comments below in the live streaming. Don't forget to follow us on Blog Talk Radio too. In order for us to do our video streaming, we really need your help in liking and following us on all these various platforms. And since we are doing video, for those of you who don't know, here is James Elkin, our healing expert. Say hi, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
Say good night, Gracie. And, of course, our lovely psychic relationship expert and intuitive life coach, Lady Fontaine. In case you're wondering, she's the one with the pink headphones. Now, if you missed the show, you'll be able to catch up.
Oh, you were waiting for me?
No, I was saying not these headphones. No.
If anyone misses the show, you'll be able to catch up with us at any time on Eye on the Future radio show on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. And if you just listen to the podcast, you can find us on Blog Talk Radio, iTunes, or any other distributor. We've got a jam-packed show tonight, and we'll be taking calls throughout the show, so please be patient. We'll do our best to get every caller on the air to answer your questions. If you'd like to be on Lady Fontaine's mailing list, please give our screener, Mike, your real email address so we can keep in touch with you. Our phone lines are open, and our switchboard is lighting up, as always, and we want to hear from you. We'll be taking your calls throughout the show at 319-527-6216. That's 319-527-6216. So call us tonight on the intriguing topic of letting go of resistance. Call us with your questions and problems regarding this week's topic, or you can just call us on anything else that you would like to discuss. We're here to answer your questions. If you wish to schedule a reading or life coaching session with Lady Fontaine, then please visit Lady Fontaine's website at ladyfontaine.com, and she can answer all your questions and concerns there. Our last piece of business tonight is that we're going to remind you that we're looking for a social media person to help us with graphics and posting. We're a really fun team, and we'd love to have you join us. This opportunity includes on-air time if desired. Our most important requirements is that you're good with technology, you have excellent home office equipment, a fast internet, and have an upbeat and fun personality. If interested, please email us at radioshow@ladyfontaine.com, and either Lady Fontaine or her assistant, Star, will get back to you. There's currently no compensation for this. but
But
it
you
is
think
great experience.
you're thinking about my dog star from
Yeah, I
years
mean,
ago.
woof, 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 woof.
That's a
Well,
challenge.
she'll help too. No, but this is a human star.
Oh, okay.
Men.
So this is all good for you. It looks good on your resume, and you have an excuse to listen in every week and benefit from all the great advice we get from this show here. And one final piece of business. We are so thankful to welcome Mike to our team. He's our call screener tonight, a good friend of Jill's, and he did such a good job screening calls on our last show that we've invited him back permanently. Well, Jill might have had to done a little more begging, but he is back to help us, and we're
Thank
very
God.
thankful. Thank you, Mike.
Thank God.
Now, since the show is your brainchild, Lady Fontaine, I want to turn the mic over to you. Before I do you have any news, Lady Fontaine, for yourself to announce? Anything going on?
I don't know. Do I?
I don't know. I'm not the psychic.
Oh yeah, that's right. The only thing I could think of that that I'm up to these days is moving forward with the movie finally that I've been working on for many, many years. And basically it's a movie about my family's really legacy. My great uncle, Harris Levinson, was a big hotel tycoon in the early 1900s. And he built some of the biggest, most lavish grand hotels of its day. And there's a whole bunch of history. I've worked many years in digging up with his grandchildren, who are my cousins, and other family members to put all the pieces together. So Jim knows my friend Joanna Sanchez, who's an actress and a producer, and she's going to be playing my Aunt Ray, who I'm named after, and ironically I look a lot like her. And we're excited to get this really rolling. But this is like the sad, pathetic part. So Joanna told me, don't do crowdfunding. No one's going to do it. But I figured, let me just try. You figure my relatives. These are the grandchildren of Harris Levinson. You would think they'd be interested in pushing this movie forward, right? Do you think anybody donated? Not 1 cent, zero. Not
Oh my
one
gosh.
person. And we're asking for like $25. Come on. But such is life. But that's my news. That I'm finally moving forward with that, and I'm really excited about it. And somehow, when we really get going with things, I'm going to have to figure out how to juggle between producing a movie and doing this. Not only this show, but what I do for a living, which is life coaching and reading and stuff. So I'll figure it out when the time comes. So, but Paul, I know you've been very busy too, and I know that you're a little bit stressed out with some of the technical issues that are going on tonight. But can you tell us a little bit about what's going on in your life?
Yes, things have been moving forward really quickly on 3 different album projects that I'm working on. And it's we're remixing an October Thorns project that was about 20 years ago when we initially released it. And the 3 of us that were part of the engineering for that, the drummer is a professional engineer, the initial original bass player for the band is an engineer, and I'm an engineer. And none of us in 20 years could remix it in a way that brought it up to date and was better than the original. So it's been kind of sitting on the back burner, but we've wanted to do this. And finally, I just reached out to Alex Argento from the Italian band Icefish, and I just threw it to him, and he's a tremendous producer and engineer, and the mixes are coming out great. So we're
Nice.
slowly polishing that
Oh,
all together.
wow.
And we have a scheduled release date for the first single, October 29th. And then I have another album to work on for Drift into Black. And then I have my own solo project that is already half finished, and I had to put that on the back burner to do these other 2 projects. So I'm hoping in about 6 weeks the dust will settle and I can move on to my my solo CD. So
Very nice.
So are these all? Is it heavy metal? Is that
Yes.
what it's called?
Yep.
They're all heavy metal.
They're all heavy metal. The correct term for Thorns in my personal project is progressive metal, which means it is highly technical, has a little bit more lyrical depth. Straight up heavy metal is a little, it's simpler and it's right to the point. And prog, prog can be very, just like prog rock, it can be very meandering. So
Is that Prague spelled like the country, the city in Poland?
No.
Or Czechoslovakia?
I've never heard of prog rock before.
It's short for progressive. So bands
Oh,
like
progressive. Okay.
Genesis,
I was thinking
Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Prog,
bands
Yeah,
that are-
okay.
too.
Yeah, they're based in classical excess, and it's
Okay.
basically what punk rock was. The first wave of punk rock was rebelling against, where these kids in England were like, I don't want to play Pink Floyd. I want to play, straight up rock and roll, and that's where punk came from. Was this
I see.
complete rebellion against what they called art rock at the time? It was like they just got tired of musicians,
Wow. Okay.
So
Well, but that's a lot of
that's
stuff
right.
going on. It's just too bad you had to put your stuff on hold. But it sounds like you're enjoying all this other stuff
Very
that's
much.
going on.
It's all my stuff, though. It's just different facets of, my involvement. October Thorns, I was the vocalist. Drift into Black, I'm the bassist. And Critical Consciousness, I'm doing everything but the drums. So it's still my stuff. It's just different.
Who's doing the drums on
A
your
studio
stuff?
drummer. Yeah, a studio
Oh,
drummer
okay.
I hired. So he's anonymous.
Oh, okay.
For
All right.
legal,
Well-
for legal reasons, I can't use his name.
Okay. All right. We won't push you. Although
Contract.
psychically, I
Yeah,
can
go
pick
ahead.
it
Try
up.
to figure it out.
I'm not going.
See,
We're under
Fred
strict contractual obligations here. We
Hershkovich.
can't discuss it. Right. So, but that's exciting and very, lots of luck with it. I have a very good feeling about a lot of the stuff that you're working on.
Thanks. Me too. Finally, I feel good.
Yay.
About it.
All right, good.
And
And
his
Jim,
piano
anything
soon.
going on?
Yeah. And my piano
What?
soon.
His
Jim
piano
came
is
over
soon.
and he
Oh,
tuned
I
my
didn't even
piano.
know that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was so great because
We
I
had a lot
tried
of
to do
fun.
it myself and I learned a little bit about it, just
And he-
enough to know I needed a professional.
He gave me some
Oh,
good
wow.
whiskey too. It was really great.
Oh, you did it, Jim?
Yeah.
You tuned it?
Yeah.
I didn't even know you knew how to tune a piano.
I can't even count the things I can do. It's scary.
Yeah, it came
Um,
out really nice.
Oh,
Thanks.
wow. I'm glad to hear that. So did you go to Juilliard School of Music, Jim?
I walked through it once. No, I did not go to Juilliard. My
Oh, okay.
violin
That-
teacher wanted me to, and then I decided I was going to become a linguist, and that all went away. So ever since then, I've never thought about Juilliard again.
Wow. Wow. But do you have
But,
anything else going on your plate right now?
I did grade a graduate one from there, and that was fun. But it was just short. No, nothing's going on pretty much these days.
Well, are you looking for some involvement, like in a movie or anything?
No, I'm looking to get a new refrigerator, if that means anything.
No, it doesn't. You're on your own with that one.
That's my
Can't
focus
help you
right now.
there.
I brought
Actually,
my
I have
kid back from. I brought my kid back from Maine, and now we're trying to get this refrigerator
saw that.
installed, and so we're a big happy family
so-
again in a small
So
little
you have
apartment.
a refrigerator, because I have a refrigerator, an extra one in my shed.
Oh,
that
okay,
I'm
I'll
not
come and get it.
using.
I'll
All
bring
right,
it on the
good,
motorcycle.
fine. That'll be a sight.
I'll tie it onto the passenger seat and drive it up.
Yeah, that'll be a sight, most definitely. So in any event, I'm very happy for Paul. Jim, I hope you get your refrigerator,
Thank you.
all
Thank you.
all
Me
figured
too.
out. And I just want to mention that in a couple weeks I'm going to be traveling, so we're not going to be doing a show in 2 weeks, and we're going to have a schedule a little bit different for October, but we are going to be doing a Halloween show for October. I don't know exactly what we're going to do, but it's going to be spooky and fun for sure.
And Jill's going to find her Halloween Christmas tree.
That's like the best part of Halloween. We
That's
used to
right.
decorate. I used to have the biggest Halloween parties, and Jim and I used to spend, a month decorating,
Yeah.
at least. Do you
Something
remember
like
that
that.
time?
It's crazy.
Do
Balloons.
you remember that
and
time? Right, but
crepe paper
I didn't,
and
And then we had the coffin in the family room with
Coffin,
Dracula.
yeah,
I remember that back then I was dating that he was a production lighting guy or something, and he did special lighting one year
I
on the
don't remember
coffin.
that. No, that's amazing.
Yeah. I forgot his name. So how important that was. But yeah, he did special lighting with that. But do you remember one time I got that new maid, and I came home from
Oh
work
yeah.
and she undecorated our month's worth of decorations. And I don't even remember what we did, but I fired her on the spot. I was livid.
She didn't like that at all. That was
I
evil.
think I had said something like, don't go into the basement. She didn't speak good English. Don't go into the basement and touch anything. She went into the basement and touched everything.
Oh, no.
It didn't work out so well, yeah. But I'm going to try by Halloween to have a Halloween tree here for us.
Okay.
For
please.
your viewing pleasure. Not
Thank
that
you.
I'm not enough, but
Yeah, well, it helps to have a little ornaments,
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
All right.
Next time I'll wear earrings, but it's hard
There you
with with headphones on,
Yeah,
especially
it is.
pink headphones.
Especially
It is.
big loops,
So Jim, I know you said you went through this the script, but here it says, before I jump into tonight's hot topic,
Oh,
the
no, I
fear of
missed it.
commitment. We'll see. He's changing it right now. So before I jump into tonight's hot topic of resistance, I want to say that the main purpose of these shows always is to guide, enlighten, and teach and help listeners evolve and become more aware of, their path and to be able to ultimately live their dream. So each week we do our best to bring you tips and techniques and to sort of guide you along on your path. So, good. The next one is right. So what I find so interesting in this week's topic, which is letting go of resistance, is that I must speak to, hundreds, if not thousands of people in any given year. And the irony is this doesn't fit.
No, it doesn't
fit. and they're wonderful people. My clients are the best.
Sure they are.
They really are the best. But
They're not your script writer.
Right. I'm the script writer. Cam the script, and he's my script editor. Cam the script for tonight. We're not doing so well. Paul, you're up.
All right, so tonight's topic is really interesting to me because this is a lifelong struggle that I've had, and I think many people have. And I think across all kinds of religions and spiritual thought, there is this sense of struggle for human beings to kind of let go of the things that they think should be given to them, the sense of entitlement that I've worked hard for this, I want this relationship, I want this job. And they don't trust, some people say trust the process, other people say trust God. To let go of their own ego sometimes, you have to kind of walk a fine line between having ambition and strength and determination to get the things you want out of life and fight for things, and knowing when to step back and allow things to go in a different direction. So I just worked for a church last Sunday, and the pastor's sermon was very much in line with this. And his comment was, and it really hit home for me, is sometimes the things that are good to you are not good for you.
Good for you, right.
And he said, you need to be thankful for the times that you pray and God says no, because God or the universe or whoever, your guardian angels, when things don't go the way you want, many times you don't see it, and you might never see it, but you don't see it for years later. In retrospect, you say, oh, that relationship would have been bad for me. That job would have been bad for me.
Right.
That career path would have been bad for me, even though you want it so bad. So it's that resistance I think we're going to really dig into tonight. I know Buddhism also has the sense of being like water and just letting, relaxing. Jim, you have to back me up because I'm not an expert, but Eastern thought is very, it's very much about letting things flow and not impeding
Right.
The way energy is working in your life, to let it be and try to follow it instead of always trying to direct it. So I
Right.
love
And
this
that's
topic, and I can't wait
Yeah.
to hear what you guys come up with on it.
And that's really a lot to do with the fact that most of us try to control every aspect of our lives. And when things happen, I have a lot of clients that either a relationship ends or a job ends. And right away, what could I do to fix it? What do I have to do? Like, should I call my boss's boss, or should I, call them and explain this, that, or the other thing? And if it's in a relationship, how do I get the person back?
Right.
And never do they realize that sometimes people need space. Sometimes, like you said, the relationship is not the right relationship. And the best thing to do is take your cues from the universe and stop resisting. Because really, what I want to talk about tonight is the greatest factor in the emotional pain we feel when there's any loss is due to resistance. I mean, what
Right.
happens when you go to the gym and you do resistance training?
You
You
get
grow
stronger.
bigger, stronger
Yeah.
muscles. So when you resist, like, you get scared, or you're upset, or you're hurt, and you resist that. Well, usually people resist in two ways. One, they often resist their feelings. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. Everything's great. I'll be all right. So they resist that, which is an extra layer that they put onto resistance. But the first level of resistance is, what could I do to fix it? Rather than accept what has happened, because the more we try to fix it and change it and manipulate it, the more pain we have, because we're not getting what we want. And
Right.
that's really what I want to talk about tonight, because that's something I see. If I talk to 50 people a week, I see that in 50 people I speak with. There's few
Right.
people who call me and go, "Oh, life is just all fine and dandy. Let's just talk about how great things are."
Right.
Usually they're in some sort of emotional pain. And the greatest fixer for emotional pain is to deal with it, is to turn around or stop and face your whatever the feelings are. Because what I said before is, when I'm fine, or it's not going to bother me, or, all right, instead of this boyfriend, I'll go out and get another boyfriend or another girlfriend or another job. All we're doing is distracting ourselves, and we're not dealing with the pain. And what
Right.
happens is we then repress it, and that becomes another layer of problems that you have to deal with somewhere along the way. So the real key is what you said earlier, which is my motto, which is trust the process.
Right.
Not that I always do it, because
course.
it's hard to do, but that to me is the most important part of life. And Jim, do you have anything you want to say about that?
Yeah. So there's an ancient teaching called Taoism in China.
Love
Taoism is kind of the origin of what we call Zen today, but it's much older, and it didn't have the Buddhist aspect to it. It was originated in China by a guy named Lao Tzu. And Taoism sees the universe kind of as ebbs and flows of yin and yang. Stuff is happening all the time in different directions and moving in different directions. And in our lives, if we resist that, we suffer. So consider this: you're in the ocean and the tide is coming in, and you don't want the tide to come in. So you struggle against it. And all you're doing is wearing yourself out and eventually drowning, because the tide's going to flood over you. If you're fighting the universe, and the universe is saying, no, this is the way it's going to go, then the better plan is to move with that.
I was just going to jump in with Jill on that. I had a similar experience in the ocean a couple weeks ago. And when I used to start swimming in the ocean, and you'd start getting on these long beaches when the waves come in, it would crash into you and pummel you, especially as you're going out past the break point.
Mhm.
And I used to be so hurt. Like, every time these waves would crush me, and I'm like, oh my God, there's so much water, and it hurt, and it's so powerful, like I can't stand it. And then one time
Because
I got
you were
so
tight and resisting.
right?
Yeah.
And then I got so frustrated with it once, and I saw this huge wave coming, and you know what I'm going to do? And I dove right into it, and like an arrow, I went right through the water, and
Through it.
it washed over me, and I came
Right.
up on the other side and didn't feel a
Yeah.
thing.
A thing.
So
Yes.
I try to teach this to my son. I take him out on the beach, and my cousins, and children are so resistant. They're so afraid
Yeah.
to dive through. And I feel like it's a very similar thing with emotions.
It is, yeah.
We're afraid to just put our head
Of
down
course.
and go through it. But
Right.
we'll stand there and let those waves crush us again and again and again.
Right.
Yeah.
Keep
Right.
on getting hit.
Because
Well, we're taught.
well,
Sorry.
go ahead. You go.
So we're taught to be afraid of some emotions, especially fear and anger
Right.
and sadness. Those
And
are really,
if you're a man, you can't.
yeah.
can't-
Those aren't.
Oh,
Yep.
it's
They're
a
not
no-no.
You
permitted.
can't be hurt. You
No.
can't
No.
cry.
You
Because
can't
Right.
cry.
you're
No.
weak,
Right.
right?
Those are all. So going through those emotions is a frightening thing because we're taught that those things are scary. Those are dangerous, and so our natural response is to back off. And it's true. I mean, courage means being able to face your fear, and not to make it go away, but to go through it. Just like any wave in the ocean. When I was a kid, I used to live in California, and we would go body surfing all the time. When the wave would come in, I just plunk my head down, and it would go, and I'd plunk my head back up. All is good.
Yep. But if you
So,
stand up straight and try to fight it,
No.
No.
You get knocked over, and you kind of get a nose full of ocean, which
Right.
isn't much fun.
Nope.
I mean, I grew up at the Jersey Shore, so
Yeah.
I knew to go right under. I mean, from the
Right.
time I was like 5 years old, I'm in the ocean, and I
Yeah.
knew to go under it. But it's not that easy with emotions because we are afraid to
Yeah.
feel the pain because that means we're dealing with the reality. If there's a relationship breakup or the end, you get laid off of a job or somebody, you have a fight with somebody and they leave your world. Dealing with the reality of that is really a scary thing, but not dealing with it is going to cause you agony, absolute agony.
Yeah.
And that's truly the key to allow yourself to, if you just dive into the emotions, you may have a day, a week, a month, a year of feeling crappy. If you don't, you're going to be dealing with residue from repressing those emotions for the rest of your life until you do
Yeah.
deal with it.
And eventually, eventually
ahead.
those emotions become your friends. You start to realize that they're not dangerous and they're not scary. In fact, they're very valuable and beautiful things that are within. And then you can really love
Go ahead.
them. Yeah.
What I've learned to do is, like, if something happens, I say, all right, I'm going to give myself a day just to feel crappy.
Mm-hmm.
And if that day turns into 3 days or a week or whatever, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I consciously make that decision. This is my
Yeah.
time, my space,
That's
and
right.
I'm going to feel bad about it.
Right.
And then you know what happens? After a while, it starts to lift. But if you stay stuck with, no, I'm fine. No, I don't really care. No, that person wasn't important. You're resisting the real emotion in there, and you're never going to be able to let it go. And that's why I wanted to do this particular show, because so often I have clients that are calling me, and they're saying things like, I broke up with somebody, 4 years ago. And how am I going to get them back? Or when am I going to hear from them?
No.
It's not, it's sad. It's so sad. I've had people wait 20 years for people to return into their lives. If they would just deal with the reality that that if they were supposed to be with you, they would be with you.
Right.
If you were supposed to have a job, you would have a job. There was a story in one of the Rabbi, I forgot what his first name is, Berg, who writes a lot of those Kabbalah books. And he had talked about, I think I even mentioned this on the show once before, but he had talked about this, person who was in the garment district who had all these different salespeople working for him. And this one salesperson went out and, on Fridays, he was supposed to collect all the money, from all the invoices. So he had about $100,000 and he was supposed to turn it in when he got back, and he didn't. And the person, waited like another week or so, figuring, I'm sure he just forgot. I trust the guy. He's going to turn it in, but he never did. And the end result was that this person, was religious, and he then said, well, if it was meant for me to have that $100,000, I would have it. So I'm not going to stress about it. And he never went to try to collect it. He never tried to confront the person. He figured that's their karma, that's their thing now. If it was meant for me, I would have it. And he just let it go. I think that's hard to do, quite frankly. Somebody walked away with if somebody walked away with $100 of my money, I would have a hard time doing that.
Right.
But that's really living in trust of the whole process. And truly what comes to you is meant for you. I post this all the time on my personal Facebook page. What's yours will find you, and it always will. And if you look back, I post that a lot.
Yeah.
I do, because I believe in it.
Even if you change your relationship, it'll come.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Even if you change your relationship?
If you find a new lover, new romantic partner, it'll show up. The same thing will show up until you deal with it.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, absolutely. The same issues and the same problems. That's what we always talk about, is that until you work through this stuff, that's why, with people who do coaching with me and they call in, they talk often about, I've had this problem for like 20 years. And then Paul, you're an example. And then I started coaching. And whammo, now different things are happening. I mean, you had how many coaching sessions with me, and you were stuck in your career.
Yeah.
And now look at you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I had 2 or 3, and I still need more, but it's a process, so I'm moving forward.
Nice work, Paul.
But you're doing great. You are really doing great.
Very
you really are. So great that we never even hear from you. We're very glad that you fit us in for this show today.
Well, on that happy note, I think it's time for a call. We got a lot of callers tonight, so let's.
All right, good.
Let's dive in.
See. All right. Oh yeah, we do have a lot of callers. All right, who do we have?
Oh, we have a lot. How about Sanda Career?
Who? What?
Hello.
Sanda, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you so much.
Tell us your story. What's going on?
It was so interesting listening to what you were just saying. So it just kind of parallels with my question. I'm just wondering when do you see something new and career-wise coming? I had a revelation today, and my manager is very difficult, but I changed the way I communicated with her today, and it shifted her whole thinking, and the conversation went differently, and it was just amazing. But I'm still knowing that it's time to move on. But just changing how I communicated with her today shifted, and it even caught her completely off guard.
Well, Sandra, what that's going to do for you is make the time that you're there a lot more pleasant, and you're going to feel a lot more empowered, and you're going to feel a lot more in control, rather than what I feel you felt like a victim for, for all, I don't know how long you were there, but for the amount of time that you were there working for her. So, all right, I'm just scanning forward to see what I see for you. Obviously we're coming into a difficult time when we're coming towards the holidays and the end of the year, and you add on to that, who knows what's happening with COVID and, shutdowns and whatever else is going to happen. But all that being said, there's 2 things that are jumping out at me. One is some opportunity, and it almost seems like it's impossible for this to happen because nobody hires right before Christmas, but actually somewhere between the first and the second week in December, I actually feel you actually starting a new job. So that would mean somewhere in the November timeframe, you're going to actually hear about an opportunity. Now, I always could be off by a couple of weeks because it doesn't seem logical that you're going to start a job before the end of the year. But my feeling is in the new opportunity, they need to hit the ground running in January. So they're going to need you on board to bring you up to speed. So there's something not that far off for you. But the irony here is I also see something else that kind of looks like it's going to be in February. Either this new opportunity for you is going to have another door opening in the February timeframe that's massive. Maybe they'll merge, maybe they'll expand, maybe they'll give you more responsibility, maybe even get a promotion. Whatever is going to happen in February, if it's in this job, is going to be massive for you.
Oh wow!
But it could be another job opportunity that surfaces. I'm not sure. I'm being honest when I say this. I'm not sure how it's going to play out for you, but I know February is your month, career-wise. It comes through as very robust and as the beginning of a whole new adventure that's going to take you somewhere you've never been before in your career. So I see you hitting monumental heights, and I see you having a tremendous amount of satisfaction and, really, and that really great sense of achievement. So I'm not sure from what I'm seeing, like I said, if it's two separate opportunities, it could be, and maybe they'll tell you when you interview that, maybe that's why they bring you on in December, because in January, you're going to start this merger or this something else, or you're going to be, buying a whole new something or other. And that's why they need you in there. What kind of work do you do?
I'm chuckling and under my breath because I work in legal, and I do contract management, so that makes perfect sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I work in
big.
contracts and mergers and acquisitions.
Bingo. There we go. I'm waiting for an expression there.
That's why I was kind of smiling under my breath, like, okay, well, that's what I do.
And it's going to be big. Sandra, it's going to be big. You're going to be really happy. So I would say enjoy this time. You sort of developed a new technique in working with your boss, and, make sure you actively go out there looking for something new, and it's going to find you.
Yes.
Based on what I just said, if it's yours, it's going to find you.
And I love that. Thank you. You don't mind if I steal that, do you?
No, I want you to spread it out. Let the world know. Yes. I'd be delighted for everyone to hear it.
Yes. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Good luck, and keep us posted.
Yes. Thank you. Bless.
All right. Good. Do we have we have a lot of callers, do we want to? Yeah. Let's take another call.
Okay. Here's Desmond.
Okay.
Good evening. How y'all doing?
Hey, hi, Desmond. Tell us your story, buddy. What's up?
Oh, I got a lady friend I work with. We kind of like real close now, like best friends, but we have attraction towards each other also. But she just got our relationship, and so now it's like we have a soul connection. Then she pull away because I guess I guess she still has to heal from her last relationship because I guess it really hurt her. So I just want to know what you see, like how far you see, maybe another like 4 or 5 months before she heals, or maybe I can help along with them.
I'll tell you, all these calls are very, very appropriate for tonight's show. They really are. So far. Could you give us her first name?
Robin.
Okay. It just helps me zoom in on her energy. All right. It's not only this last relationship. She's even dealing with the residue from a previous relationship. Do you know how long she was involved in this past relationship? Like 5 years or something? Because I see a 5.
I don't know, maybe 2, something.
Then maybe it's 5 years ago that there was another relationship that really, there feels like a huge, huge trust issue that, I don't know if it was a betrayal or something, but it feels huge that I could feel her holding on to. And even what we said earlier, what Jim said about until you work through that issue, you're going to end up drawing in other issues that are sort of on that frequency. And then I feel she drew in the last relationship. it's going to take her a while. And let me tell you something, Desmond, let her have that space. When I look at her energy and I look at your energy, you're absolutely right. There's a big, 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 big connection going on between the two of you. Just let it sit, let it happen, let it whatever. Because if she rushes into this right now, she's going to sabotage the relationship and you're going to end up with nothing. So give her a chance to go through that process that she needs to go through. Because my feeling is that if she doesn't, whatever this pattern is that she has is going to fall into place in your relationship with her as well. But I do have to say that I really like the connection that I'm feeling between the two of you. And I really feel that you both have a very heartfelt feeling and connection with each other. I mean, it's not just surface, it's a really heartfelt feeling that I feel. So try to, and this is a hard thing to do, try to sit back and trust the process and give her some space. Be that support process for her if she needs it or if she asks for it. Or you might even want to ask her, you know, do you need anything? What could I do? How could I help? You know, ask her things like that if you want. But give her space. She's, it's going to take her months, many months. And I would say probably 6 or more months to really resolve things, but I don't think you guys are going to be at a distance for that period of time. I feel she's going to be more present or stepping back into things with you before that. I would say probably, you know, maybe in 4 months, 5 months, or maybe it will be 6 months. But don't rush it. I feel you really feel like you're very understanding and you're very patient with this. Yet I feel underneath that you have got this, like, just get over it. You know, just hurry up already. Right. And that's I mean, for her, that would be disastrous. She would end up sabotaging the relationship. She needs you more. See, the way to build the foundation with this woman right now is to be her friend and be that support system. And you would be surprised how far that will take you into really building a strong relationship with her. When she knows she could trust you because she does have trust issues and she knows that she could rely on you, that's going to be the most important aspect of building a foundation with her. Jim, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, there's another thing to be careful of, and this is why she's saying why Lady Fontaine. Another reason why Lady Fontaine is saying what she's saying, that is that a lot of people, when they're in suffering, they want to get out of it, so they grab the first person near them and go with that person. I call that a crowbar relationship. It kind of levers you out of having the pain or whatever, the struggle of breaking up with the first person, and that is a really dangerous place because those relationships never last.
Never work.
So by following Lady Fontaine's advice, you will find that you're actually fighting for the best relationship you can have with this person.
And do you agree, Jim? Just be that support. Desmond
Absolutely.
just needs to be that support.
Absolutely.
And you're going to build something bigger or better than you could imagine because you guys have a very nice connection. I mean, it's deep, it's caring, there's attraction, there's a lot of elements to what I'm picking up between the two of you. So you have a lot to build on. So I could feel you are trying very hard to keep your emotions in check and to give her that time and space, but work harder.
Keep it up.
Right. So keep it up so that you don't mess up here. Because if you push her, I'm telling you, you're going to ruin your chances. It will end up being disastrous.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you will. So sit tight. It looks good, but I would say between 4 and 6 or 7 months. And let me tell you something, and I could see this playing out. The time that you would be her support mechanism is going to be more rewarding for you than the time that you're going to be involved with her. You're going to build such a connection with this woman and feel so good about yourself and her that it's not even going to be like I'm waiting for anything.
Right.
But give her that space. Like if she pulls back, if she's quiet, if she's not in the mood to talk, respect that. Don't push it, but let her know that you're there if she needs you.
Okay. All right.
All right, but it's looking good, and you really have the opportunity here to build something really, really special. So do your best to sit tight and be that support to her, and try to, put your ego and needs and wants kind of aside right now, because let me tell you, you're going to have such a rewarding time with her if you do it this way, the way Jim and I are suggesting.
Okay, I'll stay put, stay disciplined, and
but let her know that you're there. Let her know. I mean, don't just call her out of the blue if you haven't heard from her in 3 weeks. But you could always call or text her and say, "How are you doing? I'm thinking about you and worried or concerned."
Checking in. Yeah.
And checking in, and then you could say something like, "I just want you to know if you need anything, I'm here for you."
Right. And that's it.
All right?
All right.
All right, let us know how it goes. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Okay, thanks. Yep.
Sure.
Since we have so many callers, do you want to take another call?
Let's talk about that for a minute, 'cause I feel like that was an interesting part of our topic, that the resistance here is not resisting going through pain. It's the resistance of waiting and trying to get our sense of pacing and what should happen into the equation. It's like so many times I feel like we think we know better, and our perspective is very limited to right here, where I feel like, if you want to talk about God or the universe, the viewpoint of time is from above, and you can see all points in time simultaneously. Whereas when we're in time, it's like being in a parade. You're part of the parade, and you're in it, and you're marching along. You don't know what's the beginning or the end of it. You just know there's a lot of noise and lots of flags and colors and everything. But anybody above that can see the whole picture, it's a totally different perspective. So you can't guide the process while you're in it. You can't decide the direction, or demand. You have to kind of go with the flow.
Yeah.
Well, sometime maybe we'll do a show on time, because all time happens at the same time.
Right.
Linear time is only our perspective in this
illusion.
dimension. Right. Which really means that if you've lost anybody or, lost jobs, careers, dogs, cats, whatever, they're still there. We just don't perceive it. And I don't know why this dimension is built this way, but it is. That's the way we have to do it. And if all time is happening at the same time, it means if you believe in reincarnation, we're living all our past lives and future lives at the same time as well.
Right.
But the other thing is that I wanted to say is, what I always say is, I want what I want when I want it.
I think that's what Paul was talking about. Yeah.
Yep.
Right, and that's like wrong. Wrong. I mean, we have to.
It's not wrong.
That's what Willy Wonka was thinking of things.
It's just,
but it's going to. Well, you see. Go ahead, Jim. You go.
It's not wrong. It's just that's where we want to go, and we also have to step back in our wisdom and experience and say, but should we? Is that the thing that'll give us what we want? I hate to use the word should, but
and I even said it was wrong because we shouldn't judge it. But I'm going to share with you something that came up today when I was doing my inner work. Now, Jim and I mean, if you've listened to the show before, we both do inner child work. But there's a newer version of inner child work that's totally different than what you and I do. I mean, we work with the inner child, the old hurts, the old wounds. The newer version of it, which is called something totally different, deals with different parts of ourselves. And, we could have a 5-year-old part that was wounded because of something, and then that part, continues to replay not the same scenario, but the same things. So I found the part of me, Jim, that was so fearful of that house that I grew up in, was in terrible fear, absolute terrible fear.
We
I could
visited
feel
that
the
house.
fear. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. But I could feel the terrible fear. And that part of me revealed that I had to be on guard every second because some horrible demon or something was going to come get me because I was so terrified of that house. And
Right.
I also felt that the worst was always going to happen in that house. And partly, I have to blame my parents in a way because they didn't give me the reassurance that I needed, but they didn't understand, what was really going on. Then I found this other part of me that it's like my dream version of the spiritual side of me. It was like, whatever. And if that happens, fine, whatever. But I've got the wisdom. I've got the knowledge. Let me help you. Let me help you out of the darkness. But, you make your own decisions. No stress, no pushing. But she was empowered. She knew her own power. And she had great, great wisdom. Great, great wisdom. Then I found another part that made me laugh because it's the part I most identify with. And that's that, all right, look, I've got all this work to do here and I've got everything in the computer right now and I don't want to change anything and I don't care about anything else. I just got to get this work done. The way, what did you call me when we worked together in New York? Do you remember?
No.
Jill Sargent.
Oh.
And that was
The Jill Sargent. That's right. I remember that
right.
now. Yeah.
And that was Jill Sargent taking control. Look, you've got this job, fear. You do your fear job well. You've got that wisdom job. You do that. I'm not going to start messing things up here and changing things around. No way. And I could identify with that side of me so much. But the whole idea is to integrate these various parts of ourselves. I don't know how I got on this, but it felt important in the moment. But
Sure.
It really is integrating all these different pieces of us. And actually, Paul, the next time Paul does a session with me, I'm going to work on certain experiences from your childhood in that. No, we have to find his pieces. No, when we see each other in a couple of weeks, that's when I'll be Jill Sargent. Guys, we got to get down to work here. This is Jill Sargent.
Well,
no fun. What do you mean?
What we
what
were
do you mean having beers?
What we were talking about was the part of me that pushes forward and says I want something, which is very natural, and the other part of me that says, and I have to think about that to make sure that's the right decision to make right now.
Right, but
and
ultimately,
so those are two parts.
You integrate them. You have to somehow get them to work with each other because in my situation, I felt they were opposing. It was like a tug of war. Fear wanted to control this part of me. Wisdom and spirituality wanted to control that part. And then that work demon was, hey, guys, forget this nonsense here. We got a job to do. Let's just do our job. And somehow I have to figure out how to get them all to work together.
Yeah.
I'm reminded of this commercial that I saw where this woman walks into a room, it's a conference room, and everybody sitting at the table is her. And she's like, okay, guys, we have this problem we got to fix. And everybody's like what does the anxious person say? Oh my God, it's going to be terrible. What does the encouraged person say? We got to do this right now.
But that's truly what we all have inside of us.
Yeah.
And it's really getting all those pieces to work in harmony with each other.
Right.
That's what this new inner child system does. It identifies these different parts of yourself and gets them in harmony with each other. Because then that takes that. Because why don't we succeed? Because a part of us wants it and a part of us is afraid of it. And unless we get those two parts united or identify what the fears are and what the motivators are, we're always going to be in that state of conflict and never be able to achieve our goals. Yeah. So unity, that's a big one.
Sounds good. On that happy note, let's go on to a new caller.
Okay.
And see if we can help them with that.
Got Patricia. Let's give Patricia a call. She's been waiting a while. Okay. Patricia, you there?
Hi. Yes, I am. Thank you all for taking my call. My question is related to relationship. I ended a relationship about 4 years ago, And since then, I have dated off and on. Initially, I healed. I wanted to take time out to heal, and then I've dated off and on. But now I'm ready for my partner in life, a significant other. And I just want to know, Lady Fontaine, do you see someone significant coming soon for me?
Let me say to you this, that when you said you were ready, I believe you. I absolutely believe you. And that in itself is going to draw in the right person. So when I look ahead in your energy, what I see is in the January or February timeframe of next year, you're going to end up meeting somebody. And um, do you ever, I'm not sure if you're going to be traveling somewhere, or do you ever for your work go to like workshops or seminars or business meetings or anything like that?
I'm in the medical, so not so much as some workshops. Yes.
Because what it has the feel of is that you're either off site or in some sort of, not like, a status meeting with your boss or anything like that. This feels like either an off site or a business related event, and you're going to end up very casually meeting somebody there who will you might talk a little bit, and you might exchange business cards or phone numbers or email addresses or something like that. I don't think you're going to walk away saying, oh my God, this is the man of my dreams. But let me tell you, as you get to know him, you're going to realize he is. He most likely is in the same field that you're in or somehow related to the medical field. And this is a romance made in heaven, is what my guides are saying to me. This is going to be a biggie for you. But it does feel like it's in some sort of business setting, but not in day-to-day work. And it's not like, your boss or somebody's calling a meeting. This is you being in somewhere different or something different. But it is related to your job. And let me tell you, this guy is not who does he remind me of in looks? Oh God, I can't think of the name. It's Jim. Jim, I don't know if you're watching video of us, but no, this guy is really tall, dark, and handsome, very handsome. He's well spoken. He's educated. But the more important qualities are he's very genuine, very caring, and I guess genuine and authentic are the same, but he does come through very, very authentic. So when he tells you something, it comes from the heart. I'm also seeing roots growing both in him, which shows me that he's very grounded, and I get that feeling like strong, like an oak tree, built strong, wise, well-grounded. And then I also see roots growing in the relationship with you and him, which shows me that it most definitely could turn into a long-term, committed, permanent relationship. So he's out there. It's still several months out. I would say, look but don't look, and be aware, but not. I don't want you to get like overly like, oh, is this the person? Oh, is that who she meant? I just want you to allow it to flow into your life. It's there. It's very, very close. I mean, like when something is about to happen, like I feel it here. It's not quite there, but it's within. Oh, you might not be seeing a video, so I'm showing you like, within a couple inches of my face. But when it's a little bit further out, it's there, but it's headed towards you, and it's got a nice momentum. And I could just feel the connection, the openness, the love, it's a beautiful feeling. I don't remember feeling this great about a connection with somebody in a really long time. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I would rate this as a solid 10. And you're ready for it. My guides keep saying, you are ready for it. So go for it, girl. You're going to do phenomenal with this, and trust the process. Don't overlook, don't, sign up for every single dating site and, every single person. Oh, is that the guy? Is he going to, ask for my number or anything? Just let it happen. Remember what we said. What's yours will find you.
Oh, yes. Oh, beautiful. I received that. I received every word of it. Thank you so much. Many blessings to you all.
Oh,
I love
Thank you.
all.
Thank you so much. Love you
And
too.
please
Keep us
stay
posted.
safe.
You
Continue
too.
to-
Thank you.
I will. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you, Patricia. So just as a reminder, our phone number tonight is 319-527-6216. If anyone is listening wants to call in, we are open for more callers tonight, 319-527-6216.
Well, I think that's the first time you mentioned the phone number all night.
No, didn't I do it at the beginning?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. I don't
It's in the
know.
script.
This script. Oh, then, yeah, this script today is perfect.
Well, speaking of the script, I really enjoyed. You have a wonderful quote here. It's in red about,
I'm looking
towards the
for it. Oh,
end.
there it is.
and
Yes.
it's just a beautiful quote. Do you want to talk about that?
Yes, and I actually want to read it. And I was really surprised because I put this, periodically in between my dog pictures and my motorcycle trips, I put, quotes. And very few people respond to them. A few of my clients do that follow me. And this one, very few people responded to. And I was really surprised because I thought it really painted a beautiful picture. So I'm going to read it. And incidentally, I don't know who said this quote. It says author unknown. But the quote is, thanks to those who hurt me, you made me a stronger person. Thanks to those who loved me, you made my heart bigger. Thanks to those who cared, you made me feel important. Thanks to those who worried, you let me know that you care. Thanks to those who left, you showed me that not everything is forever. Thanks to those who stayed, you showed me the meaning to true friends. Thank you to those who entered my life. You helped me to become the person I am today. And in a way, to me, that really says what we're doing because that's trusting the process. Somebody goes, they loved you, they leave. You've learned something from that experience. Somebody cared, they made you feel great. You learned something from that experience. And if we start looking at life from that perspective, like what I always say to my clients who do coaching with me is, what is the gift and lesson in this experience? And once you see that gift and lesson, you let go of all the hurt, and it transforms. It's an autonomous thing that you don't stay stuck in that place that's so painful. That's like the final step of my system is what's the gift and lesson. Jim, do you have anything? Because I know you're more into the Tao and Hinduism.
Well,
what do you have?
First of all, there's an organization that I've been involved with called MKP, Mankind Project.
You've talked about it before, and
Yeah.
I've heard about
And
it.
when they're talking about what you were calling the gift and the lesson, they call it the gold. What's the
Oh,
gold
I
in
like
the darkness?
that.
Yeah,
I like that.
it's a really nice
Or
image.
the light in the darkness. That's
Well,
also.
that's true too. But so you've got this stuff going on. But your quote reminded me that in Buddhism, there's this whole idea in the teaching and in Tantric Buddhism that anybody who gives you anything is actually one of your gurus. He's your
So
teacher.
anybody who gives you any lesson at all, they hurt you.
Yeah, if they hurt you, if they give you joy,
they
whatever
insult
they give you.
Whatever. Right.
Yeah, they're your guru. They're teaching you about
Yeah.
life and about
Yeah.
enlightenment. And so there's this great story about this highly acclaimed and enlightened teacher named Atisha Dibankara. Excuse me. Thank you. Who was going from India, where the Buddha first taught, into Tibet for the first, one of the first teachers to go to Tibet. And he asked some people that had been there, what are the people like in Tibet? And they said, oh, they're very, very nice. They're wonderful people. They treat you very well there. He says, oh, well, this is bad. I'm going to have to get myself and he found this tea server who has a really, really bad attitude, and that became his companion because he needed someone along to keep him stirred up so that he could keep his mind on enlightenment and not be taken care of and lulled into complacency by all of these very nice, genteel people. And he did it.
Wow.
He took along an irritating person just to make it so that he would be kept on his edge. So he actually cultivated having that kind of relationship.
I mean, that actually makes me think of something. I mean, I don't really want to discuss it, but there's somebody that tremendously annoys me because he reminds me of my ex-husband. And I see all those same signs, so I pushed him away. In fact, I had Mike tell him to leave me alone. He wouldn't leave me alone. But now he's totally blocked, so he has no choice but to leave me alone. But so I'm wondering if I maybe made a mistake. Maybe there are lessons there.
I mean, he's a highly enlightened, amazing teacher. I don't know if I could do that, but that's the question you have to ask yourself, if that's possible for you.
See, what I did, which I was very proud of myself, is I identified all the red flags, and I said, not doing this again.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting it to the average person unless you're looking for enlightenment or something. I don't mean to say that you're average. I'm sorry.
I know. My God, you just did.
God, what did I do? So what's the title of our next show?
I have to support you on this because I went through a similar situation where I was with.
Who are you supporting, me or him?
You.
Yay!
I went through a situation where everyone goes through cycles and they end up attracting the same type of situations and people. And for me, I was proud of the fact that I recognized it early on and I cut off the situation when I'd had enough. I didn't let myself get drawn into these situations where I would be angry or I would lose control of myself or just waste my time. I got up to a certain point and I kept on kind of knocking at the door going like, is this really as bad as I think it is? And as soon as I figured it out, like I didn't hesitate and boom, I cut myself, truncated the whole thing and I walked away from it and it was aggravating, but I was so proud of myself because it was like, never again am I going to go and sit in a situation
that's
like
how
that.
I feel.
When I've been there.
I feel that's protecting yourself. And I believe it takes wisdom and experience to be able to get to that point. Because why subject yourself to the same level of whatever, abuse or, whatever it is.
Right. On the other hand,
that's why you've got me wondering.
It could happen that you have a situation where the Tao is saying you can't move.
What do you mean?
You have to stay there. You can't move. You're talking about, well, I'm just changing the situation and everything's better. But I'm saying, what if you can't change the situation? What if you have to stay in the situation?
But for what? What's there except torment?
See, that's what I'm saying. But in your view, that's the way to do it. But you have the power to do that. But some people don't believe they have the power to do that. So they might feel like, I have bills to pay, I have kids to raise, I need the help of somebody, and this is the only person available right now, and I'm not going to go look for somebody else, so I'm just going to stay here. And so what do I do now? So I learned how to make peace with myself with this situation.
Right.
That's another important thing.
All right, I got to think about that. So are you saying you stay in the situation and make peace with yourself, or you leave the situation, or it doesn't matter what you do as long as you make the peace with yourself?
That's the important thing, is making the peace with yourself,
Right.
Well, Jim, what if there are several lessons in a situation and you're choosing one off the menu? So say in this particular situation, her personal and spiritual growth could come from confronting this person head on and challenging them and standing up for herself. Or maybe her position in this situation is she's a teacher to this person and she's going to gently guide them through their own growth. Or, in the situation that I'm supporting her on, this is a chance for her to stand up for herself and remove herself. And instead of, it's not just saying, oh, I don't like it, I'm going to go, I respect myself enough not to stay
That's what
in
I
this
felt.
situation.
Yeah.
Right.
So I feel like
That's what I
in
felt.
any situation, you could find a number of things you could learn from it.
Right.
Right? So
And
it's like it just depends on where you are.
If sometimes sticking it out, you actually find a higher level of evolution in yourself by moving through that. That's why, well, a lot of the famous teachers are pretty harsh on their students. Gurus are very harsh on their students because they want to get them to that place where they're actually confronting who they are, who that person, the guru, who the chela, the student is, and not the anger at the guru. You got to look at yourself and see where that's coming from.
I know that. I do know that.
Yeah.
But I think because
But
that's
if you're
what we
always
teach.
changing everything, if you're always say, okay, well, I can just leave this situation, that isn't necessarily the message and the lesson that the universe is trying to teach you.
But let's assume you have A, which is this repeat of the situation, and then you have B, which is something that could be a lot different.
Yeah.
I think the test is, are you going to get suckered into A again?
Mm-hmm.
And then the ultimate response was, no, I've learned and I've evolved, and that doesn't fit my energy anymore.
Oh, yeah.
So I choose to walk away from that. And I believe that then opens me up to B, which could be something way different.
You're talking about an invitation now. You're not talking about an ongoing situation that is already happening.
Well, A happened. A was happening.
Okay.
And it was a replay of Lewis. And I don't need that.
Nobody's saying you shouldn't have. I'm not saying you were right or wrong.
No, I know that.
There's wisdom in sticking with a situation that it would probably be devastating if you left for everybody involved. So staying in it could be the healthiest thing to do. And by so doing, you may actually find a deeper strength in yourself.
I'm sure.
And you may actually be able to help the other people in the relationship who you're having such a struggle with to grow. But it requires a tremendous amount of personal strength.
And time and
energy.
See what I found is this, and again, I don't like talking about my personal life, but
okay. We'll talk about somebody else.
All right, we'll pretend it's someone else.
Yeah.
No, but for instance, okay, I do have a tremendous amount of knowledge about spirituality and psychology, and this person had other wonderful knowledge, but yet he always felt like he had to be in competition and outdo me. And then he would try to, I know he didn't mean it, but he would, as if he was knocking me, and I'm not going there. I'm not going there. I mean, that's not a healthy, that to me is toxic. That's a toxic relationship. So I would have to exit out of that to protect myself.
Let me give you an example that kind of relates to the very first caller we had. I worked in a place as a programmer, a computer programmer, many, many years ago, where things went really sour, and the boss was like this close to firing me. And I was like, these guys were all raised together, and they all went to school together, and they all loved each other, and I was an outsider coming into the situation. And I realized, I can just walk away, or I can let them fire me, and that would just happen. Or I can redeem myself here. And I can step up to the plate. I can face the situation and not resist it, by the way, using the term for the day.
Right.
And not resist it. I can choose not to change the situation, but rather to transform it. And that's exactly what I did. I pulled it together. I got everybody to love me. I did everything that they wanted me to do perfectly, and they were very pleased with me. And they were like, "It's amazing the change that happened. What happened to you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then I went and found another job. And at that other job, I felt totally empowered and in control because I knew I made the choice. And I made the choice to redeem that situation and walk away from it.
Right.
That was powerful for me.
Right. And that in that situation, that's exactly what Sandra said she did, one of our previous callers. She did the same exact thing.
That's what reminded me of that, yeah.
Right. She did that. But, again, I work with people all day long. And the thing that's most frustrating to me is what men or women put up with in a relationship.
Yeah.
That they put up with so much abuse. They put up with so much lack of respecting them and all this other kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a sore spot for me because
it is. Yeah.
Because my heart goes out to these people, and I went through it in my first marriage, and there's no way. Fortunately, since my first marriage, I've only met. I mean, every man that I've ever dated, I'm still best friends with. I mean, I have great relationships with anybody that I've gone out, except that one guy. I don't even remember his name either. But
the lighting guy.
Years ago. The which guy? No, I don't remember his name. He wasn't serious. That one didn't last that long. But this other guy I dated, and I can't remember his name. That was an important relationship, but I can't remember his name. But I've always had a tremendous amount of respect from men. I always have. This guy was coming off way different, and there's no way I'm going to tolerate it.
I'm not saying that abusive relationships is something anybody should tolerate. There's always a better plan than that. But I'm just saying that there are times when if you can't make a choice about what to do, you can make a choice to be there and to make the best of that.
Right. And I honestly feel that I did. And there was a point that he even said to me, gee, I think I can learn from you. And the next day he was a 180, attacking and this and that. And the way Mike got involved was a lot of this was happening like the 9/11 weekend. And I had all that stress as well. So Mike had come by in the morning on 9/10, on September 10th. And all this, I mean, this guy just wouldn't stop. I mean, constantly. And then something else was going on, and I got mad at Mike. I snapped at Mike. And I've never snapped at Mike before. I'm always so tolerant of him, even though he drives me nuts sometimes. Hi, Mike. But bottom line is,
he's listening.
We lost our call.
Thank you, Jill.
But what happened when we got to our destination? I came over and I apologized. I said, it wasn't you. I said, I'm upset with something else. I'll tell you about it later. And then Mike got on the phone and he called the guy and he said, leave her alone. She doesn't want to be bothered. Leave her alone. The guy didn't, and I had to handle things myself. But, but Mike was my hero.
If that happens again, you and I on our bikes, okay, we'll just go over and rough them up a little.
Are you coming down here that we can go riding soon, Jim?
Oh, no, I don't have that plan in my mind right now.
Oh, I thought you said that you guys were starting to talk about it.
They were starting and they stopped. So
well, let me talk to them. Do you belong to an HOG or what?
No, broken motorcycles are a definite problem. So future plans are out of the picture for a little while. Sorry.
Darn it.
Yeah.
So are we ready for another caller? Are we ready to jump in? I think have we spoken to Donna yet, Jim?
Not yet, no.
All right.
Hello. Hi.
Hey, there you are. Hi, Donna.
Hi.
How you doing? Tell us your story. What's up?
Okay, well, I must be on a high frequency because I was sitting up in my bed about 2 months ago, and there was like a tunnel, and in the tunnel was this man in robes swirling, and then I actually saw him, and I saw his face. It was beautiful, and I felt his royalty and everything, and I just stared at him. I didn't want to talk because I was afraid he was going to disappear. I don't know if it was my third eye. And then I felt enormous joy in my heart.
Love.
It was just beautiful. And then he disappeared. And I've been on a high frequency. I've been winning left and right. Money is, my brother gifted me. My other brother wants to take me to Hawaii. I went to the casino like 7 times in a row and won. And I mean, I just got a scratcher ticket for 1,000. So I'm expecting big things. I'm expecting even
You
bigger
are.
things.
You are.
Cool.
How did you get there? What's your secret? Share it with us.
Well, I do meditate. I meditate like 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes at night, and I just say God. I say God. I center myself in God. And so when my thoughts go out, I come back to the mantra God, and that and I feel that in my heart area because I know it's good. So I like that mantra. I don't go for the Far Eastern ones because I don't know who it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so Om is good too.
Right.
And then it's just I hear things, and I trust what I hear. And like today I went up to the casino and I was playing blackjack, and I won a little bit, and then I thought, oh, I'm not feeling it anymore, so then I leave. And then the other day I was feeling it, and I won like $1,600 on one hand. It was great.
Wow.
I only bet like $10.
Wow. You are on a roll. You really, really are.
I'm on a roll. I'm expecting something good coming in now. Yeah.
You are. So what is your question? I mean, this is a wonderful, wonderful thing to share.
Yeah,
I have a question for you. I do have a question for you. Who do you think that was when you went down that tunnel and that beautiful faced figure? Who do you think that was?
Well, when I looked into his eyes, I could see me too. And I think that is someone that I'm going to meet. Maybe I knew before I came into this life, or that I will be with again when I leave this world and go into the next. That's what I
had a feeling. I had a feeling that I had two feelings on it. One, that it was a twin flame, and the other one that it was your higher self. And we're all one, so in reality, it could have been both in one. But that was a very profound experience for you. And what I actually feel is that you have the ability to reconnect with that part of you or spirit. It's at your will. You just have to ask for it. In psychology, we call that resourcing. And it's a matter of learning, if you have angels, archangels, guardian angels, God, whatever it is that you feel is a resource for you, call on it. And I really do feel you could explore and learn a lot about yourself by reconnecting with that part of you that you met on that journey through the tunnel.
Oh, okay. I'll do that. I wanted to ask you, do you see a partner coming in for me in this lifetime? I mean, I'm 67. I've never been married. I have been in relationships. I was in one for 12 years, and then he passed. And I'd like to share my life with someone and go traveling and have fun and all. So I wanted to know, do you see someone coming in for me? Because I just haven't met anybody. But I don't go out that much.
I'm just right, and I think that's a part of it, that you do have to in some way put yourself out there. But let me first scan you and see what I'm feeling for you. There is the presence. There's an energy that I feel. It feels in the distance. And I'm listening to my guides and what they're saying right now. All right, so this is what my guides are saying is that, and it kind of ties into something that I frequently say on this show about wanting. When you want something, you actually keep it away. Because if you look up the meaning of want in any dictionary, it's lack of. So I do feel that for even your whole journey in this lifetime so far, you've really wanted that real deep connection, that you've wanted something beyond what you've gotten in relationships, and that piece of you or that piece of someone else is out there. I mean, I could feel it, but it's in a distance. So what I really feel you have to do is tap into yourself, and that that wanting that you have, and transform that into trust and, kind of like whenever. And I kind of feel intellectually you do that, but emotionally you don't. Emotionally, I feel that want in your energy. Where intellectually, so what? So I've been alone. Who cares? But that's not what I feel in your heart of heart. So, sort of try to tap into that, and also ask yourself things like, why haven't I met the person of my dreams yet? What do I need to see? What do I need to learn? You're highly evolved enough to be able to get the right answers on that. And I honestly believe you'll get some light bulbs going off in your brain and some sparks of wisdom that are going to shift your energy enough to draw in this guy. He's out there. And what I could say to you is it feels like a very, very strong soul level connection. It feels very aligned with your energy. He feels like, something we were talking about to Desmond in a previous call about being that support system for this woman. This man is going to be a tremendous support system for you. I could feel that strength, that solid energy in him that wants to be there for you. And I honestly feel that's what you need, because my guides are showing me in previous relationships, you may have had men that, were on a scale of 1 to 10, a 4 or a 5 as being that strong support mechanism, but you haven't gotten really what you need. And that's what you need. And that's what you haven't had. And that's what this guy offers you. So before he's going to get closer, do that inner work. Have those inner dialogues with yourself. Also call on that part of yourself, either your higher self or your twin flame that you journeyed with, down the tunnel. But talk to that part of yourself. Were you listening to the whole show? I mean, did you hear me talk about when I was talking about those different parts of myself that I identified? I'm feeling the same thing in you. There's that part that wants the relationship. There's that part that goes, I'm so used to being alone. Right. Who really wants the relationship? Yeah. Then there's that other part that, is going, slow down. We don't have to rush into anything. And then there's the other part saying, I'm 67 years old. If it's not now, when will it be? So try to get all those parts united on a single track. And that's when you're going to find success with it. But know, and this is the most important thing, know that there is that person out there for you. You just have to sort of get yourself, as much as you're on track right now with drawing in money, you're going to be able to, with that inner dialogue, get yourself on that same track to draw in the person of your dreams. And remember what we said before. If it's meant for you, it will find you. If it's yours, it will find you. So you weren't ready yet, and you're on that journey to getting ready, and you're almost there. So I really feel it's just identifying those pieces of yourself and really understanding that there is an inner battle. There's that part that wants it, and there's the part, I'm so used to being alone. Who cares? But get them balanced, get them not opposing each other. Because right now, the part that's saying, I've been alone, who cares, and all this other stuff, that part's winning. And you have the control to shift that. But you've got to do that. You've got to become more aware of that part that why does that part want? What does that part that wants it really hope to get out of it? And explore the parts of you that are holding back and resisting. And why? Why? So you're used to being alone. So what? That means you can't let anyone in? Explore that part and understand why that part is ruling supreme, why you, my dear, are allowing that part to rule supreme. And I believe it's because it feels safe for you, because it's a risk to go out there. It's a risk to get hurt. And I feel you've been through enough, that there's I feel that other part of you saying, enough already, enough. But find that balance.
Yeah, because I have been out on the razor's edge before, and I wear my heart on my sleeve, and oh my gosh, yeah, definitely.
I understand. I do.
Yeah.
But maybe that, and I'm going to ask Jim on this too, but what he thinks, but maybe that's something you need to learn, not to, I mean, we talked about this in our last show, and I brought up a quote that a psychologist friend of mine said to me, because I was one who said, no, someone's got to earn my trust. And this person said, and I asked Jim, and Jim said, I go into it trusting somebody. Unless they do me wrong, I give that trust. But this other person said to me, the psychologist friend, he said, sometimes allowing trust to be the cornerstone in a relationship could be a really beautiful thing. And that resonated with me so much that I'm trying to offer that trust up front. But you have to, you have to be your own best friend and guard your heart. And I think that you may have to learn that delicate balance about perhaps not, being open and honest, but I'm trying to think of the right way of saying it, sort of control it and not, let yourself, it's almost like you let yourself go bonkers right away. And then you've lost you. That's the key. You lose yourself in a relationship. That's what my guides are saying is the key.
Oh, yeah.
So it's learning how not to lose yourself in a relationship. That's also a good topic for a show. Jim, what do you say?
Yeah, I like that.
I'm hearing that we've got to parent those inner children. And in many cases, those inner children are going to want to go out and play in the fire. And we've got to be able to hold them back and say, yeah, the fire is really a good thing, but playing in it is not a good thing, especially for you at your age. You've got to learn how to work with fire before you can play with it. And so when I find a piece of myself that's rushing out to do something, I also want to have a conversation with that part. And that's really what I do. I really have a conversation with it as if it's a different person, and we have a little chat, because that part really wants, and it's okay to want. That's not bad. What's bad is to jump into that want without having some wisdom behind it. And so there's other parts of me that can have that conversation with myself just to say, well, what do you think can happen here? Or if something bad happens and I want to forgive because I really want that person, and then another piece of me says, well, maybe this isn't something I should ignore or let go. Maybe this is something I should take a good look at, just to have the wisdom to be able to stop myself and have a reasonable conversation with those parts. They're not in control unless I give them control.
Right. That's the part I want you to realize, that they're not in control. You're allowing that part to control you. And I know it's exciting. New relationships are so exciting and you want to indulge, but sometimes being a little, not, shutting all doors, because then you're not going to ever let anybody in. And you're in that mode right now where you're super duper protective of yourself. But it's because you don't trust yourself to be able to balance it in a relationship.
That's
what you have
part.
to work on.
That's another part. And you can have a conversation with that part too and say, it's okay to take risks, because a turtle cannot make progress without sticking its neck out. Or my favorite, ships are very safe in harbor, but that's not what ships are for.
Yeah, that's true, right? But you have that control.
I'm not going to disclose so quickly, I think. I get childlike, and I disclose too much too quickly.
Yes.
And then, or I talk too much about myself, and then I lose my center. I want to keep things just for me.
You lose you. Yes.
Don't
you
lose
lose
your center.
you, and don't do that. The most important thing is for you to stay grounded and centered and know who you are. When you lose you, somebody loses interest in you, because you become a blend of them, and they don't want them. They want you.
Yes. Definitely.
Jim, what were you saying?
And I was going to say, and walk with all your parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Don't leave anybody behind.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Oh, I'll have to practice that one a little bit.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah, I will.
Good.
But trust the process. Trust the process, because that guy is out there. I just suggest that you do a little bit more work on yourself and work with these parts of you that you know are there and you know what's controlling you right now, and explore that and discover all the things that are holding you back from being happy and being, in love, and being loved in a safe way.
Yes. Oh, this was so wonderful. I'm so glad I called in and talked to you, Lady Fontaine, and you too, Jim. You've been both very, very helpful, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. We're glad you called in.
Thanks for the call.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So going back to the show's topic with experiencing resistance, especially in terms of when we have cycles and patterns that keep on presenting themselves, what are some techniques we can use to recognize those situations that we are in the stream? We are we're in the universal path where things are kind of trying to push us in that direction. What, Jim, in particular, meditatively, what can we do to kind of accept what's happening and let go of our ego and our need to control the situation?
Haven't we been saying that all this show?
Yeah.
Just how to.
Are there more techniques that you could give, just very simplistic, are there things we can do to maybe center ourselves meditatively when we recognize the situation and kind of center ourselves?
Yeah.
Any recommendations from you on that?
Yeah, I have actually stopped conversations to say, just a moment, I need to think for a minute. And then I'll just have a quick conversation with myself and say, so what do you think? What's going on? And take a kind of a mental inventory on how everybody in there is doing with this.
Right.
And when somebody waves a hand and says, this sucks, then I'll start to figure out what that means, and then I'll return to the conversation. It's like against the rules in our culture to stop. We've got to always be bantering and stuff is going back and forth, and
right.
Even the TV shows make it even harder because they actually edit dialogue into being such quick banter, and everybody wants to do it that way. But really, taking your time and having a conversation, especially when it's about something very important to the self, that's really critical. So I stand back and let myself talk to myself for a moment and just get a picture as to what's going on. Or if I'm away from the scene, I may just say, can you hold that for a minute? And then I'll try and close the conversation without making any commitments. And then I'll later take myself offline and really dig deep and see what's going on.
Well, what if someone is in the middle of these repeated cycles and patterns and they're not aware that they are in resistance and they keep on doing this loop? How
There's nothing they can do until their awareness. That's why we end up drawing in the same kinds of situations and we get the same kind of pain.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why in the situation I gave earlier, I was very proud of myself, like you were in your situation, saying, I recognize this is toxic, I'm out of here.
Right. And it's not necessarily I'm just changing the scenery. It's I am standing up for myself and I'm not allowing myself to be mistreated.
Yeah.
It's a different situation than just
that was the first two marriages for me. Yeah.
Right? I can relate to
But
that too.
I did that too.
But I think what I heard Paul saying is, does meditation or any, more esoteric kind of thing help to ground us or center us in order for us to get more awareness on things? Was that what you were
definitely
thinking or saying?
We're talking about resistance, and I feel like part of the problem with resisting the flow
is you resist.
Well, you don't know you're resisting. It's
you're
a
in that pattern,
and you're just like, I want things my way. And I said it before. It's the Willy Wonka thing. It's like I want the world. I want the whole world. I want it, and it's very childish. I want. You don't know that you're resisting. You're just
exactly. And most people don't.
The very best technique that I've ever run across for finding out what's going on when I can't see it for myself is journaling.
Really?
Yeah.
That is a good technique.
It's a great technique.
That is.
And how does
I wrote.
Because I can stop and I can ask myself questions and write down the answers. Write down the questions and the answers. And then when another question, stuff just starts coming and you journal it, you just write it all out. And then eventually you're going to get to a place where it's a lot calmer and you can start to get some of the more quiet voices. But Yes, it's a great technique.
I want to read something.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No. I want to hear what you were going to say about
The best journal
journaling.
I ever wrote was in college when my high school sweetheart, who I had proposed to, and she broke up with me on Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
And she
God,
started
that
dating
hurt.
someone that one of her housemates. So I was just miserable for like a year
Yeah,
because
sure.
we had mutual friends, and they used to come over to our house parties, and I wasn't very happy. So I had a little book, one of those black and white, journal books, and I wrote on the cover the list of Paul's dirty and nasty things he's too nice to say to anyone. And I filled it up with the most hateful, murderous language of the terrible things I wanted to do to this couple. And just hate, and just scribbled it. And at the end of the year, I burned it in a bonfire, and nothing ever felt better.
Perfect.
It was so
Yeah,
good.
but that's perfect.
Right?
But-
That's
Because
absolutely
I would have never
perfect.
done
Let
it
it
or
go.
said any of those things, but that was just, I poured it all out into the paper,
Right.
and then I
Right.
destroyed it, and I let it go.
Yeah.
Have
a lot
you
of times,
ever?
Sorry.
You go.
A lot
Yeah.
of times that anger is sitting on top of something deeper.
I was hurt.
Always, not
And-
always. It's a trigger. Always.
Yeah.
And so it's good to let that anger have a little bit of energy. It's not good to feed the anger. It's not good to say, oh yeah, this feels yeah.
Right?
But just to kind of let that anger kind of pop its thing, and then go a little deeper and say, so what's underneath that anger? And then you might find something like fear.
And it's
And-
always asking those questions. You know, like, what is it that I'm feeling? Why am I feeling that way? And
Mhm.
keep on asking. Sometimes you don't get any answers.
Write the
but
question
keep
in
on
your journal.
asking.
Write your question in your journal, and then look off in the distance for a second, and something will pop into your head.
Right,
That's it.
right. Because you don't think, you allow it. You just in your
That's right.
in your heart. You're in your What do I tell
Right.
you when we're doing the work? Don't think about it, because then you're in your head. You're
Right.
intellectualizing it. You have to just ask the questions and just relax
Look off
and
in
let
the
it
distance.
come. Right.
Is there
I
another
wanted
name
to-
for the technique? Is it just journaling, or do other?
That's
you know,
it.
All right.
I mean,
Well, I
I'm
do
sure
it when-
somebody's come up with a technique and they've written a blog about it and they're
Right.
selling it for $69.95 a year.
I didn't
give
know
me
if
a
it had
break.
its roots
Hey,
in
that's
Eastern
what I
philosophy,
do,
or,
so- What?
Sorry.
No, but I don't sell for $69.99. But what you're explaining journaling is a wonderful way of doing it.
Mhm.
And I had a client once that we were doing the inner work, and she could only do it by journaling. She couldn't do the work any other way. But you could also do it the way I do it with you, where you just ask those questions. You don't have to journal. You have to find what's right for you. But
That's right.
have you ever been in a situation where you're so hurt or you're so angry and you write this long email or a long letter and you edit it and re-edit it and rewrite it and keep going over it and over it, and then you feel like, oh, I don't even need to send it
right? Yes,
because
then
you've gotten it all
you
out.
got it out.
And then it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what they think or say because you did get it out. The whole thing, if we don't, we're like a pot boiling on the oven that doesn't have any vents. We're
Right.
eventually going to explode.
Yeah.
And that's what I always call a trigger. But I want to read this because it's something that I wrote at the last minute before today's show that ties in perfectly with this. What I wrote is, in order to heal emotional pain, we need to invite it. And you said that word before, Jim. You said that's inviting something. We need to invite it up into our conscious awareness, which is really what we're saying. What is it that we need to see? What am I missing? What's here that, or why do I keep doing that, or why do I feel like I need that? You ask it, and it does come to your awareness. And then I wrote, we need to care enough about ourselves to spend time with ourselves, looking within and truly being with ourselves as we are. So that's being non-judgmental. Not that, oh, what an idiot I am. Why did I do that?
Yes,
Just
yes,
be
yes.
with the
Please don't do that.
emotions. No, don't. Exactly. Be with those emotions. Even if you make mistakes, even if you have regrets on different things, just be with it. But ask yourself those questions. It doesn't matter if you're journaling or you're asking. But I also wrote, when you do this, you can discover an infinite source of emotional support and well-being that is always available to you from within. Therefore, everything I've been talking about with many of these callers about finding that external support, if we don't have it within ourselves, we're never going to find it outside of ourselves. That's the mirroring effect that we talk about all the time, that you have to heal yourself and be ready for something before you could draw it into your life. So if we had a caller who I said, the last caller, that I said, what you really need is that support that you've never had in your life. But until she gives it to herself and she knows she can rely on herself and always be there for herself. And I do feel she is there for herself, but not the way she needs it. Because
or at least she doesn't see it.
said,
Yeah.
well, she knows she gives her power away. And in that way, she needs to be more with herself and more
Right.
honoring herself
Right.
and more there for herself and be that support, because I believe for her, it was that tremendous ability to love and that tremendous desire to be loved in that same way. But sometimes, we have to first love ourselves before anyone else will love us, or we can truly love anyone else the way we want to be loved and deserve to be loved.
Right. So bringing us back to the topic again, with resistance, one of the sayings in the church is let go and let God. And I think, Jim, there's got to be some Eastern philosophies that have a similar mirror to that sentiment, that you allow the universe or energy to guide you. How can we approach that better when we're in the middle of really stressful situations where we don't want to be there and we're trying to escape and we're trying not to feel the pain? What advice would you have for somebody to dive in and let it happen? Just let it wash over you like the waves we were talking about.
Hi.
Right? I mean, it's the hardest thing. I think it's one of the most universal things about being human is that none of us want to feel that pain or to suffer that. And that's what we need to do the most to get through to the other side, is just dive through the wave.
Yeah.
How do you advise somebody in the middle of it to just put their head down and go?
I would start with addressing the fear behind it. Okay.
I was going to say, what are we afraid of? I was going to write it down so I don't forget it. He nailed it.
That's the journaling again is a great way to do that, just to get the picture. So what is stopping me? What is stopping me? And okay, write down. It's like, oh, my brothers used to kick me when I was a kid, or stuff like that, and let it all go, and then look at it and say, okay, so that's all that's there, but that's all in the past, and this isn't in the past. This is in the future, and it can turn out very differently. So I need to do something in order to have a future. Otherwise, I'm just going to get stuck here. Let's go and see what happens.
Right.
Let's make an adventure out of this.
Do you think most people don't grow until they're just exhausted from doing the same cycle over and over?
Either that or they're pushed into the growth.
Right? How many people do you
God
know
comes along and says, grow, damn it.
Some people spend lifetimes doing that.
Right? And
they
it's
never learn.
You finally just get so fed up, and it's like, all right, fine, I'll just do it.
Right. You can't. Some people have to hit rock bottom numerous times before they're ready to really seek help. And that's a question I get a lot from clients, that they're involved with people. Or a client the other day called me that, I don't remember if it was a brother or a son, that was a drug addict and was in jail and is with somebody who's a drug addict, and he overdosed several times and all this stuff. And he's not ready yet, and he has to keep going down that rabbit hole until he gets to that point that he says, I need help. Or maybe he won't. Maybe he'll end up, learning it in another lifetime. But there's no way to push. If you push somebody to learn any of this, they have to be ready. Right. They have to be ready. You can't force any of this on. Some people live in denial their whole life, and they're just going to stay there.
Right. Until the next one.
Yeah.
Do we have time for one last caller before we're off tonight?
Yep.
We have Khalil. Hang on. Khalil.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Tell us your story.
Hi.
Tell us your story.
Hey, I am wanting to get into the Citizens Academy, particularly federal. because I want to learn more of the tricks of the trade of like law enforcement.
Okay.
But because I'm kind of confused about like the difference between field agents and special agents. So I was wondering if I should let that go or if I should, try to follow it. Because I was arrested one time, but my charges were dropped and my thing was erased. But I was just wondering if I should do that.
I actually got a very positive feeling about it for you, so I would say I would most definitely look into it. I mean, obviously, if you have a record, I think that would probably be prohibitive, but you said it was erased, so it should not affect you. There's something, it's almost like I feel you are not fully obsessed, but you indulge in this. Your energy shows me a tremendous focus on understanding, and I don't know if there's another hidden motivation here because it almost feels like there is, but it's like your mind and your head is trying to sort out the whole structure of these organizations and who does what. And I don't yet see you merging with that. The important part in you being able to be successful in becoming, part of, if it's the FBI or whatever organization you're looking at, is for you to, right now you're keeping it as, you're trying to understand the structure, you're trying to understand how it works, you're trying to understand all these other ingredients, but I don't see you in it yet. So do you feel that separation? Because I do. I feel right now it's a research project for you. It's not a true desire yet. Do you recognize that?
Yeah, it's just I've been trying to look up the difference between like if you are a field agent, if you are promoted to special agent, but it hasn't been popping up on the computer. I've been trying to research that.
Right.
Like field agent versus special agent.
Right. And why are you checking this out? I mean, that's the part I want you to start getting in touch with. Why do you need to know this?
I don't know. Just like I know just the jackets, like the raid jackets, they stand out with me. So I noticed them more like as FBI or ATF agents when they're in raid jackets more than they are in suits.
And that, for some reason, fascinates you or draws you in.
Not only that, but also the saving lives and getting justice for people. And with me, I'm very particular about law enforcement and military, which one I would want to be a part of. Like, I wouldn't want to be a part of Border Patrol or ICE, but like maybe ATF or FBI, stuff like that.
What I want you to do, see, this part of you that you're revealing right now is the part I really want you to start indulging in, because it feels to me you've spent a tremendous amount of time trying to understand the structure of the organization. And that's almost like, eating the cake before it's baked. First bake that cake, put in all the ingredients. So I'd like to see you apply some effort into how do I, what are the steps that I need to take to, apply for a job, or what qualifications are needed and things of that nature. Your desire or interest or it almost comes through with, it's not a fascination, it's a desire. Your desire to help people or be in the military, and that structure feels very important to you. But, and I don't know if I'm explaining this right. Jimmy's caught up in the outside instead of putting himself in it. It's like it's like building a house when you don't have the foundation built. So I'm trying to think of a way to get him to see that.
So are you right for the career? Is this career really one that you're going to thrive in?
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. Because it's not really, it's more like a citizens academy. It's not really a academy where I'm going to actually be a police officer.
Oh.
It's more of like a citizens academy.
So what would you become if you went through this?
I'd just be like learning more about law enforcement and stuff.
I see.
I'm not exactly fully sure.
In that
but
case,
what are you going to do with it? But no, he has bigger desires. I can feel it.
Yeah,
but I don't know that. But that's the thing.
He doesn't know that.
Right. Well, he doesn't. Well, he does know it because he's looking where it could lead him.
Yeah.
But he's not indulging in him being in there. Like, all right, so I start with this, and then once I have that knowledge, maybe I do apply for something else or go through some other kind of training. He's not thinking of those. He's only thinking about, I need 3 pieces of plywood and 14 nails to do this, but he's not seeing he is seeing a bigger picture, but he's not seeing the big picture of what he's trying to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
So what I kind of want him to do is take a step back, and I would say go for this class. I feel if he's in it, he's going to learn from it.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's going to, right, and that's then going to get him on the road to understanding what the next steps are. And I feel he will start understanding law enforcement and the different, pieces. And that's going to more or less guide him to the direction he wants to go. Right now, it's like he's trying to take in the whole world, and he doesn't even know where he is.
Yeah, right. So in my experience, I've been through a lot of education. I never worked in the job that I was moving towards in my education. I went to totally different things. And so I just want you to keep in mind, Khalil, that your job, that this education, this schooling will teach you about what you might end up being if you were to take this direction, and may actually help you find one that's going to be more to your liking or fit you better.
Right.
Okay.
I was very interested in what you said about if it was ATF or whoever it was, AF, whatever, about the gray suits. I mean, what's interesting to you about that?
It's something like it teaches you that it's what's on the inside that counts. Because to me, the jackets are not very nice, but it's someone that's doing good, someone that's protecting the public.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
You're
that's
made for this.
Keep in mind is what drives you, what's inspiring you. Definitely.
You're actually made for this kind of work. So I encourage you to take this civilian class and be open to wherever it leads you. I believe it's going to lead you right where it's supposed to.
All right. Well, I appreciate it.
Oh, good luck to you.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Good luck,
Thank you.
So we just want to say thank you to all our listeners and viewers tonight and those who called in. We really enjoyed hearing all the stories, and we appreciate you. Be sure to either follow us or like us on our social media so you'll know when our next show is. We're going to try to get 2 shows here in October, and of course, our special Halloween show as well.
Yay.
We have lots of topics in queue, and welcome your suggestions for the topics that you want us to talk about. Email us at radioshow@ladyfontaine.com with your suggestions, testimonials, or just to say hello. A very special thank you to Mike for screening our calls and being part of our team. Welcome aboard. Please visit Lady Fontaine at ladyfontaine.com for a reading or life coaching session. I am a true testimony to that work, and if you need to hear about it, just contact me and I'll tell you how good it is. For those listeners in New York, visit Jim at East West Healing Arts in Hartsdale, New York. Also, testimony to what a great piano tuner. I love my piano right now. His website is eastwesthealing.info, and his Facebook page is East West Healing Arts on Facebook.com. I have my own show on Bulldog Radio on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time called 6 Degrees. And we just want to say good night, and we look forward to seeing you on our next show, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Eye on the Future.
Another great show thanks to our callers and wonderful listeners. Be sure to follow us here on Blog Talk Radio and on Facebook. Check back regularly for info on our next show here on Blog Talk Radio on Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. If you miss a show or want to listen again, you can listen to the podcast anytime here or on iTunes. Signing off from all of us here on Eye on the Future, blessings and namaste.
And there it is.